Danny watches a lot of television and movies. John does not. Listen in as she tells him about what she's watching, and he tries to make sense of it all. Welcome to Watching My Stories with Danny and John.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, he's yawning. Wow. I've bored him before we even got started.
Auspicious start here. Yeah, sorry I yawned out of it.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy day 4,382 of quarantine.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm starting my 7th week of quarantine. I think you're like in 6th or so.
Yeah, about that. But I've been out.
Yeah, he has left. I have not, except to walk the dog.
Yeah.
So, and I'm fine. I'm fine.
Well, I don't know. You've exhibited some characteristics I question. But...
Well, we had a stressful week. Roxy got vertigo again, and so that's been stressful.
Mm-hmm.
But she's probably 50% improved, so we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think your looping has gotten worse. For those of you that don't know what looping is, my wife will sometimes get stuck on a verse of a song or a line from a movie and just kind of repeat it, like in a really cute way,
kind of like Rain Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's
in a cute way. You're so funny.
No, it is cute.
But I'll be doing it not really, and he goes, "You're looping."
Yeah.
Anywho.
So anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So those of you that have stuck with us and keep listening, we do apologize for like the weird schedule, and we haven't really been sticking to anything.
We question your judgment. Just kidding. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you.
Yes. But we're going to try and get back onto a more regular schedule of every other week, and do a better job of this. So thank you.
We're going to do a podcast every time we shower. How's that?
Oh, God.
Once a week. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so this week I only have one movie to talk about, a bunch of TV, and a few little things. And then in our Actors Corner, we're going to talk about Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go.
Okay.
First movie, only movie we both watched, so this will be good, is the new Trolls World Tour. That is hard to say.
For you.
Say it.
Nope. Trolls World Tour.
Oh, yeah, you say tour. I say tour.
See, that's one of those little, phrases or titles that you kind of have to, for me, you have to over enunciate. Otherwise, you're going to sound like you're drunk.
Like I did.
No offense.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the sequel, obviously, to the first Trolls movie with Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake. This one added in a bunch of people. Rachel Bloom, Sam Rockwell, Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson.
George Clinton, right? Is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. Mary J. Blige was in there. I mean, tons and tons of people. So...
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne. If you call that,
or it could have been somebody. I mean, you never know.
No, it was him.
Yeah. I figured.
Yeah. So the point of this one was Poppy, Anna Kendrick's character, and Branch. They discover that they are not the only group of trolls in the world. That there are all of these other trolls, and they're separated by genre of music. So there's techno and country and rock and classical, and I'm missing something else. I don't remember. Funk, yeah. And everything in between, but that they were all separated. And so then they discover that Rachel Bloom's character, which I don't remember her name, she is actually trying to take over all genres and turn everyone into like hard rock genre. And there's a lot of story behind it, a lot of like the myths of how the trolls started, and they have these strings and that sort of stuff. But it's basically then Poppy and Branch going around trying to save all the different genres and keep them safe against what was her name? I don't remember what Rachel Bloom's character's name was. But anyway, so I am going to say I loved the first movie. I actually watch it quite often.
Mm-hmm.
I really, it was just such a fun, wonderful, uplifting movie. So I was really looking forward to this one. And it does not hold up to the first movie, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and go first, and then I'll kind of come in and fill in what I want to say.
Yeah. Okay. So, like you, I really liked the first one. It was a cute story.
Great music.
Obviously, we're big fans of Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake. Those two are very easy to listen to.
Yeah.
And the two little trolls on the screen had good chemistry. If that's, I don't even know how to describe that. It's, I only say that because I'm gonna come back to it in my review of the second one. So didn't mean to upset you over there.
Yeah.
Sorry. I really liked the first one, so I too was kind of looking forward to the second one. I don't know. I'm weird because I don't generally look forward to movies. You just say, "Hey, let's watch this," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." I didn't know that was coming, but yeah,
true.
So I don't know that I'll watch this again. I was so disappointed by it. I really didn't like it. It was so it was so all over the place. First of all, the animation is amazing.
Yes.
The use of colors and the animation is fantastic.
Yes.
So much so that I found myself thinking about a third of the way through, because the story was so disjointed and kind of weak, that there's no way this movie gets made if marijuana hadn't been legalized. Because whatever group sat around and came up with this movie had to have been high.
No.
Yeah, 100%. Because it was just a series. To me, it was just a series of random events. It wasn't cohesive. It didn't flow. It seemed, by the end of it, I was irritated that they had put out a second movie because somebody said, "You're doing a second movie."
Okay. I didn't dislike it that much.
Okay.
I also want to remember that we had to pause it a couple times and leave and come back to it. And that sometimes also distracts me. And so I do want to watch it again a full way through, because I do worry that maybe that viewing style was a bit difficult. But I agree that it was a little disjointed. I thought there was a lot of creativity, a lot of cute little things, that would pop up, and I would be like, "Oh, that's so cute that someone thought of that, or that they did that," or
and I would say
the smooth jazz, the hired guns to find Poppy and get her were a smooth jazz guy that puts you into a trance. The
Kenny G
yodelers,
Unicorn or whatever it was.
Yeah, the yodelers, the K-pop. Again, they brought in all these other kinds of music. I think that was partly my problem with it, was that the first one, I just loved to hear Anna Kendrick sing, and there were such poppy songs in the first one, and familiar songs, and in this one, it felt like we weren't given that. We had to sit through a techno song, and we had to sit through the funk song was kind of fun or whatever. It just it wasn't my it just didn't feel that upbeat feeling that you get from the first one. I agree, it was kind of what are we doing here, and what's the point here? And then we got to the point, and the ending was very lovely. When they all, I guess I won't spoil it. And the ending was lovely, and it was trying. I remember sitting there going, okay, they're trying really hard to bring me back to the ending of the first one and make me feel that feeling again. And I'm not feeling that feeling as much as I was the first time. Yeah, I agree with you. I think not as great as that. And I'm hoping that if I watch it again, maybe I won't be so judgmental with it. Cause I do think I kind of went into it going, I expect a lot out of this. And
most people will, because the first one was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, I guess there's not a lot else to say. It's still good people. but not as much fun. That's what the first one was so fun.
So here's kind of how I ended up looking at it. The first one, if you had given me a choice to watch the movie or listen to the soundtrack, I would actually watch the movie.
Okay.
Because of the animated performances and the movie was really good.
Yeah.
This one, totally no interest in the movie. The soundtrack I think is going to be good. I'll take the soundtrack. I'll listen to that, but I don't need to be watching a movie for it.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
You know, and I want to be fair.
Yeah.
But, and again, this is just my opinion, but it way missed the mark for me. And I do understand what you're saying about the interruptions we had while watching it. Yeah. And there are a lot of times where I'll watch a movie a second time and like it more than the first time I saw it, especially if it's one that I didn't really like.
Right.
This one, I don't think it's going to do that. And I don't know that I really have a desire to give it a shot.
Okay.
So it is what it is.
So we haven't been rating movies here in a long time, but let's just do it. If you had to give this out of 5, what would you give it?
Oh, boy. I apologize to everybody involved, but I'd give it a 2.
Yeah, I was thinking kind of a 2.5-ish. But I also feel like the first one was a 5 for me. So I can't not judge it against the first one. I just can't. Because the first one was just so much fun.
Yeah, you have to gauge this one against the first one because it's so, it's such a particular movie. It's trolls, it's animated, it's this fantasy land, right? It's not like other sequels like Die Hards or whatever where, you have the characters but the setting can be different or whatever. Right. Trolls, they are where they are.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right. That felt land, which again I love how everything's felt, and
so it's going to be one of those where your gauge is the previous movie.
Right.
And it just way missed it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well, there you go, guys. It is available on demand on pay-per-view, and you can rent it for $20.
Now, I will say this. One of the big things for us with this movie was they released it to home.
Yeah.
I think it was the day it was going to open in theaters, right?
Yep.
So I will do it again. So for us, the theater going experience has kind of been
we've talked about
the thrill of it has been lessening over time.
Yeah.
And I will spend whatever money to see a first run movie at home, even if I don't have any interest in it, just to support the idea of being able to do this.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm happier to spend $20 to watch a movie at home than to spend more than that at a theater and not like it.
Right.
I would have been more angry if I had sat in a theater and not liked it. So that's Trolls. Again, $20. You can rent it online, on pay-per-view right now or online or whatever. And good luck.
Yeah. Well, okay. I hope everybody enjoys it more than I did.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to television.
Okay.
And a bunch of shows ended, so I'm gonna talk about either their seasons or the whole show. So first one I'm gonna talk about is Walking Dead. I just want to talk about my anger because
You're
they couldn't get the season finale done because of the quarantine. Supposedly they didn't finish editing it. However, they've been able to show us like a 3-minute section and that's all done. But
I call shenanigans.
Yeah,
there's no way you have that much time from when they finish shooting to not be able to pull it off. So I think there's something else going on.
It does take a lot of time. It's just that, there are people who can edit alone and, so there's that. But also, I'm not sure that AMC, because they also then decided to postpone the news spinoff, A World Beyond or whatever, which was going to start after the season ended. And they decided to put that off too, which is rather annoying. And I'm not sure why, because you would think that these channels would want any new content they have to be out right now because they know everyone's home.
Captive audiences.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So it was a great season. Where we left off, the penultimate episode was really great. And I'm so angry that we don't get the finale. My other disappointment was Michonne left, and I feel like it wasn't a grand enough exit for her, but I feel like they're trying to keep it open for a return.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, so that's Walking Dead. I just wanted to air my grievances.
Okay. I guess I am a little bit surprised that, and I don't know how the television writing, shooting, post-production, airing, I don't know how that time frame works, but I am surprised that if they were supposed to be airing something right now, we've been in quarantine for 6-7 weeks, right? If you weren't ready, if you're airing it today and you weren't ready 6 or 7 weeks ago, is that normal? Is that a normal part of that timing? Because I would think that you would be ready well in advance of when you're going to be airing it. It's just in the can waiting to be aired.
So they probably finished shooting this last year, towards the end of summer into fall is probably when they finished shooting. So that would be about 6 months to get everything done, sound, editing, all of everything. And it depends on the show. This is a different deal. They're editing almost a movie every single week. There's a lot going on.
Sure.
There's special effects that have to be added because all the stabbing and stuff, that's all special effects and everything.
Yeah,
so the show definitely takes a long time to in post to get to complete.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but I guess I'm just surprised.
I just wish we had a date. I just wish we knew when this was going to happen.
Yeah,
so.
that part is not as shocking to me because there's so much up in the air right now. But
you also look though, and there are shows that are, talk shows and stuff that are working from home. Someone is somehow taking that footage and they're editing it together. But there just must be a lot that still is out there for this finale, and I'm sure it was a very. I think there's quite a battle in this final show, and so there's probably a lot of effects and a lot of things that it's not just really piecing it together. So anyway, that's that.
Yep.
Okay, next show is a show that ended for good, and that is Schitt's Creek. They gave us 6 wonderful seasons. And it ended, and I'm very sad.
Yes.
And I can't wait to rewatch the whole thing. I will probably rewatch this year after year after year. I'll rewatch the whole thing quite a few times.
It's like a new girl for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this show was on Pop. A lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon over the last few years because they discovered it on Netflix. I watched the very first show, the very first day it aired, and fell in love. And they did a great job. First, there was the after show where they did a whole retrospective on the entire thing, and that was lovely, and cried through the whole thing. But the finale, they also did this whole last season. Knowing it was the last one, it was still everything from the first season, and they really tied it all together. They stayed true to all the characters, and they finished it up in such a lovely and hysterical way. I mean, I was crying and laughing, and David getting married, crying when it's starting, and then when Catherine O'Hara comes out in her outfit, laughing hysterically, and then when she starts to cry she's yelling because she's so emotional. Oh my God, it was perfect because it was hysterical and it was heartwarming, and that's what the show has been from day one. It was, it could have been something so different because the stereotype of this, really rich family losing all their money and having to come to this small town and live and survive could have been really just over the top. It could have been really quirky, or
it could have been very stereotypical because it's not like this hasn't happened before.
Yeah, it just could have been silly and over the top. And instead they figured out how to give these people real character, and even though, especially in the beginning, and even up to the end, they've never lived in the real world. they really don't want to, but they have, and they've learned and they've grown, and it's really just been a beautiful journey and really well done. And you have expressed an interest now, because so when I was watching the finale and the retrospective, you were watching because we were in the same room.
Yeah.
And that was really probably most of your exposure to it.
Yeah, I hadn't watched much of it, if any at all, really. But then I, knowing that it was ending and you had, we're starting the retrospective, I thought, well, I'll pay attention to it. And it totally sucked me in. And it was such a beautifully done retrospective that I really think I want to watch the show now.
Yeah.
I don't know if the bandwagon is anywhere close where I can jump on now, but if it's permanently parked somewhere. But I think I do want to check it out, and it's because of that retrospective and just how powerful it was.
Yeah, it's nothing that you expect when you hear about the show, or even if you've seen clips of it. You can't imagine how deep the show really can go. And that's what's been so great about it. It's Catherine O'Hara. She's just the funniest woman alive. She took Madeline Kahn's place for me in my head, who I can look at Madeline.
Pretty high regard.
Yeah. I can look at Madeline Kahn and just crack up. And Catherine O'Hara is the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, she just has to have a look on her face and I'm done.
Yeah.
So, and then you put in just what she did with that character is just, it's genius, and it needs to be in a Hall of Fame somewhere. And Eugene Levy was kind of the straight man with huge heart and love for his family, which most of the time you're like, why do you love these people?
Sure.
But he kept us all grounded, and David and Alexis were just, it was all perfect. All the people in the town, and it was all hysterical and funny and perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really going to miss the show, but I'm very excited to rewatch it with you.
Well, so the thing that kept coming back to me was someday, they've been doing it for 30, 40 years. Someday Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara aren't going to be able to work together.
Right.
And this was like, this is like gold.
Yeah.
I mean, those two together are just awesome.
Yep.
And this is like, who knows if this will ever happen again.
Right.
So this is really something to behold, because the two of them together are just...
Yeah. We just have to hope that Eugene and Christopher Guest come up with another movie idea, and then we can all get them back together again.
Yeah.
So, so that's Schitt's Creek. It was on Pop TV, but now it is on Netflix. Everything except for this last episode. So you can go back to Netflix and watch all the previous seasons, and then this last season will be on soon. So we will definitely be doing that.
Yep.
Okay. Next show that ended is Modern Family. After 11 long years, it finally ended. And this was kind of the opposite. Did they do the final episode first, or I don't know, but their retrospective, again, it was nice. I shed a couple tears during it. It was fine. And then their final episode I did not enjoy at all. And here's the thing. I am very picky when it comes to final episodes. I have a long list of final episodes that I have not liked. And everyone here knows I love Friends. Hated the final episode. So I will not just because I love the show go, oh, yeah, it was great.
Right.
So Modern Family, I've had kind of a tumultuous relationship with over the years. It could have ended 5 years ago and I would have been perfectly fine with that. It got tiring to just watch them fight every week and then they make up at the end, and that's what it felt like. Everyone was just so bitchy on there that it started to get annoying for me to watch, but I kept watching because of Cam and Mitchell and Lily. They were the funniest to me. I could have just watched a show of just their family. So I was glad it was ending. It was a decent season, but it also felt like they really didn't know what they were doing. And that's what felt like in this last episode. They changed everything in the one episode so that they could wrap it up. And that's what I hate when people do that. You had all season to know you were ending. You could have started in on changing people's lives, and instead it was, oh, all of a sudden now these people are moving, and it was just like you have to say goodbye to them all quick. Where we could have dragged that out over the last 4 or 5 episodes and started in and, had a little bit more time. I never got emotional in this ending. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's over. And look, there's still, when I'm flipping through and there's nothing on and the Modern Family reruns are on, I will put them on.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a good episode, if it's one that I really enjoyed, I still will watch it. So I'm not against the show. I'll still keep watching it in reruns. But it did fall down in that finale for me.
A miss on the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal, but
Well, there are way more of those than there are hits.
That's very true.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing to do.
What is your favorite finale?
See, now Schitt's Creek is definitely up there now.
Okay.
I don't know. Family Ties was a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
Alex was leaving. Okay. When he came back into that kitchen and hugged, that's a definite. Fresh Prince was a good one.
Okay.
But again, it was another thing where, everyone's moving, and so the whole family was moving, but he was staying in LA. And it's like, that's always the thing. Like Alex was leaving in Family Ties. Growing Pains, I think Mike was leaving, so it's like they always do that. But, favorite finale, it was sitcom.
Well, maybe not even a sitcom, just your favorite finale.
Well, MASH was obvious.
Wow.
Was obviously a good one. Lost, I know people are tough on my Lost and that finale, but I actually really liked it.
So did I. That's actually my favorite.
Yeah. It depends. I'd have to go back and think.
Okay.
Oh, Big Bang Theory did a good job with their finale. I was actually happy with
yeah,
theirs.
where Sheldon got his award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. I was a mess
That was
for
like
that
one
one.
of the finales of a current show that I watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway,
Okay.
that's that. We'll
All
move
right.
on to the next one. Next show is War of the Worlds.
Okay.
This is a show that's on EPIX. It's a British show, French show. It's both, I guess.
European.
Anyway, so we were really excited to watch this because we do love War of the Worlds. And I think you watched maybe the first 3.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And then
First 3 or
he
4.
thought it was too boring, so
Well, it was too much
tapped
character
out.
development,
Right.
or I think it was supposed to be character development, and really kind of to me wasn't that.
So this was a modern telling of the story. So they kind of completely changed it around. And it was very interesting where the very beginning of it was just this sonic burst type thing that happened all over the world. And so everyone was just kind of struck dead. It basically killed everyone instantly unless you were protected by something, whether it was you were in the metro station underground, or if you were in an elevator, or if you were underwater, you were protected by this kind of sonic boom thing that the aliens put out and across the earth. So from the beginning, we're basically following these few sets of people. Gabriel Byrne is in it. Elizabeth McGovern was his ex-wife. A few other people, family members, all that. And it's in modern day. We see also there's someone up in the French Alps that's like first tracked the signal that something was going on. So, we had 8 episodes in this first season, and honestly, we've never seen an actual alien yet, which I think is why you stopped watching.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
But I'll tell you what, it felt like the second season of Walking Dead a little bit. It felt like I was still cool with it because we were getting to know these characters. There's different perils that they all come across. There are these alien robot dogs that were then sent out to kill any survivors that weren't killed during the first wave. So there's definitely that threat that they have to deal with. But then there's this whole other story where there's a blind girl, and whenever the dogs come near, she can hear them and she gets her sight back, and she has some sort of connection with this whole thing. So we're definitely interested in her story and how is that happening, because there's also this other kid in France who has the same connection, and It's definitely more character based than anything else than the aliens. But I think in the second season, that's what we're leading up to, is this blind girl is like, I have to get to them and figure out what they want from me. And as far as we can tell, they want to join the human race somehow. She has visions of her being pregnant in the future, and it seems like maybe she's having an alien baby. So it's very interesting as to what can come next. So I really dug it. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely quiet at times. It's a definitely quiet show. The whole French side, obviously, you have to read the subtitles. But that story is also very interesting. Yeah, there's just a lot going on, and I'm really looking forward to a second season. So basically what I did the whole time was I just kept John informed of, yeah, well, I just watched this episode and still no aliens, so I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's on EPIX. It's on demand if you want to go back and watch the first season. I think it's really worth it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the second season. I don't know when it's coming out. Well, that's going to be the answer now for everything, is we don't know when anything's going to come out anymore. Right. So, but anyway, War of the Worlds on EPIX, really good. I would say go watch it. Next show I want to talk about is called Home Before Dark. This is a show on Apple TV. This was the first season. I think it was 10 episodes. And I had heard about it, that it was kind of based on a real life little 9-year-old girl who was a reporter. And so I went into this thinking it was going to be like a, like kind of a teeny bop Nancy Drew, like, you know, really light Disney-fied show or whatever. And to my happiness, it wasn't at all. It was actually a really cool mystery. Jim Sturgis is in it. He was in the Beatles musical. So he's her dad, and yeah, this little 9-year-old girl's great. Everyone in it is great. But it turns, they like have to move to this small town, and she's this reporter, and she kind of gets this little thing that something's going on in the town, and finds out that her dad, when he grew up in this town, one of their friends went missing. His best friend was kidnapped right in front of him, and they never solved that. And so she starts working on the modern day mystery that opens up what happened back when he was a kid. And it's this whole story and mystery, and it's really well done. And I was so into it. I watched it all over one weekend. Was not at all what I expected. And they left it in a really good spot for a second season to kind of continue on.
Cool.
So I hope there's a second season.
So you were pleasantly surprised that it was dark enough for you.
It's not super dark. It's not scary at all. And it's not really super dark. It was just not a Disney type, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't foo-foo. It was an adult show. It was definitely an adult show. But I think probably like tweens and teenagers would like it too, because you get to see this girl like doing something really cool. You know, she sets up her own online paper, and you know, she has no fear. Like, the things that she was going and doing, I was just like, wow. I mean, there's nothing but admiration for that type of attitude, you know?
Sure.
So it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Right. So that's Home Before Dark on Apple TV. Okay. So that's kind of all the new stuff, but I do still want to talk about a few little things. One of which is, you guys know we've been trying to get John caught up on Jane the Virgin. We took kind of a big break there because we had a whole bunch of other stuff to watch, but we did just finally finish the second season. So I thought I would let you just give a quick shout out to that show and what you're thinking.
Well, so prior to this show, I really had no knowledge of or experience with telenovelas and that whole genre. And it's interesting. So here's the thing. I'm loving this show.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's you never know what's going to happen. You know, suffice it to say, some of the most unlikely things unfold. But after 10 minutes, they make perfect sense. Right. You know, it's weird that, you know, something that's, you're watching a movie or whatever and something comes out of left field and you're like, what? And it ruins the whole thing.
Yeah.
This show, something comes out of left field, like there's a steady stream out of left field, and you just take it in stride and roll with it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's funny. It's sweet. It gives you all the feels. I mean, there's not an episode where I don't tear up.
Right.
At some point.
Right.
I'm laughing.
Yep.
And tearing up and everything in between.
Yeah.
So it checks all the boxes, and it's, I know it went on for 5 seasons, 6 seasons. So obviously there's no letting up. It's going to be the same thing for, a while yet for me.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited because in about, I think 8 or 9 episodes, there's a huge twist. So I'm excited to get there and see what you think of that. So yeah, so I just wanted to let you, remind everyone we're still watching it. We just take breaks whenever something else comes up. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Okay. Since everyone is quarantined, and I usually don't talk about shows until they've finished so that I can kind of give my full opinion, I thought I would talk about a few new shows that I've just started so that if people also want to go back and start during this time, they can.
Okay.
The first is Little Fires Everywhere. It's on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've had 7 episodes, so it's almost, halfway through. This is with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington, and Pacey, Joshua Jackson. And it was based on a book. Everyone was so thrilled about this and all that. I'm loving this show. I have no idea really still where we're going, but I hate the both of them. I hate their characters. And honestly, I texted my sister after I watched this. I was like, now I'm in a bad mood because I hate them so much. It puts me in a bad mood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's how other people are feeling. It would be interesting to know if that's how people are feeling about them, because my sister just kind of laughed. I don't know that she's like that into it,
Mm-hmm.
But it's really, these 2 women are awful, but they're battling each other. And so I'm not really rooting for either one. I have opinions on things, but I don't know. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what comes out of this. I don't know how things end up. But it is masterclass in acting. Reese is amazing in this because it's not her typical, goody, bubbly person. Yeah. And Carrie, of course, is great in everything she does. And there's kids in this that are also really great actors. And so I really like it. So again, Little Fires Everywhere on Hulu. Jump in now and you can catch up. And then they come out every Wednesday, the new episodes.
All right.
The next new show I watched just started on Sunday, so I've only seen 1 episode. It's called Run on HBO with Merritt Wever and Domhnall. What's his name?
Donald Monaghan?
Yes. I know I don't pronounce it correctly, but everyone knows who he is. This was really super interesting. First off, Merritt Wever can do no wrong in my book. She is the top. So this was super interesting. Like, she's sitting in a parking lot at a Target or something, and she gets a text that says run, and she starts to freak out. And she texts run back, and the next thing we know, she's on a plane, and then she's on a train, and then she runs into him. And we find out that like they were together in college and somehow had set up this deal. Like, life might get boring. Like, they don't say this, and you have to really extract all of this. But something like, life might get boring at some point. Why don't we have this deal that if we can't take it anymore, we meet up on this train at this time, we'll text each other this run thing, and we meet up and we escape our lives, basically. So she's married and has kids and stuff or whatever. And we're trying to figure out what's going on with him. And so anyway, it's just this half-hour show of this first episode of establishing how do they know each other, what's the deal here. But it looks like it's going to go in really crazy places as to, are they going to continue, or are they going to go home, or are they, and again, it's just, I have no clue. I don't know where this goes, but really cool. So you can go back and watch the first episode from last week. It's called Run. And then every Sunday, these episodes will come out.
Okay.
on HBO. And then the last show I want to talk about is also on Hulu, called Mrs. America. The first 3 episodes are out. I'm still only on the second one. This is all about the Equal Rights Amendment in the early 70s and the fight for it. Cate Blanchett plays Phyllis Schlafly. If you have ever listened to this before, you know Cate Blanchett is my favorite of all time. And she's playing someone that I can't stand, and I still just look at her and go, I love you. So basically what this is doing is introducing all the different players during the Equal Rights Amendment fight. So she plays Phyllis Schlafly, who was someone who was against the ERA. The next episode is Gloria Steinem. Rose Byrne is playing Gloria Steinem. So we'll watch her involvement in that. Shirley Chisholm is Uba. What's her name from Orange is the New Black? She's playing Shirley Chisholm. Okay. So it's going to be this kind of whole story about the process, because it took a long time. So it's very interesting, really interesting, really. Okay. Especially, so the first episode with Phyllis is like she's talking to some congressman and Barry Goldwater, and he's like, what is your take on ERA? And she's just like, I can just tell you I've never been discriminated against. And literally 2 minutes later, they're saying, honey, can you take notes? She's there to be the expert, like on nuclear weapons and all of that, to talk to them about that. And they're just like, can you take notes for us? You can get a pen out, you know, and it's like, you've never been discriminated against, but this is happening. And you can tell she's recognizing it's happening to her, but she's just wanting to play the other side, I guess. We haven't gotten through it all. So anyway, it's called Mrs. America on Hulu. Very interesting. Something I would definitely have daughters watch so that they can learn exactly what the fight was for. And that's that.
Okay.
One other thing I just want to mention, because again, people are looking for stuff to watch and occupy their time. There's some really fun stuff going on YouTube. A lot of people are getting together and doing stuff and raising money. Yesterday, That Thing You Do, the cast had a watch party. So there was Tom Everett Scott and Ethan Embry and Jonathan Sheck and, who am I missing? Steve Zahn.
Yes.
And then Colin Hanks came on, and Giovanni Ribisi came on, and Kevin Pollak came on, and they were raising money, but they were watching the movie the whole time and kind of giving background to it. So this stuff is happening live, but it's all on YouTube now, so you can go back and watch it.
Sure.
I also want to say Seth Rudetsky and his husband they're doing this whole series raising money for the Actors Fund. You can find it on YouTube with hashtag Stars in the House. We watched one last week with Spring Awakening. They had the original cast of the Broadway musical Spring Awakening come on. It was fantastic. But they're doing this twice a day, and they are getting some of the greatest cast together. They had the cast of Taxi on. They had the cast of Frasier. They had Glee. They had Desperate Housewives. At the same time, they were also still doing Broadway musicals and getting all of those cast together. Sometimes it's just one person, so it'll just be Kristen Chenoweth. But they're doing it twice a day. You can donate to the Actors Fund. But they're also really freaking entertaining casts here and the reunions that they're putting together. So if you just go onto YouTube and you search Stars in the House, you'll see all these past ones that they've done, and you can tune in and see whatever they're doing for the next day. So anyway, just keep an eye on YouTube, and you can always check stuff out, and there's a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Yes. One last thing I want to throw in there, that since you started talking about it jogged my memory. Why don't you put a plug in for your on-screen husband?
John Krasinski?
Yep.
Yes. So I'm sure everyone's aware he's doing a new series called Some Good News. Every Sunday night he's putting out a new episode, and it's all about good news that's happening during this time. So whether it's just a story about a healthcare worker, it's a story about someone who's beat cancer during this time. Last week he had a girl who couldn't go see Hamilton. He got the entire original Hamilton cast together, and they all sang to her. And it's just a lovely, he's hysterical, and it's also basically crying tears for 20 minutes because it's just all good, lovely news coming out. Last night he actually held a senior prom on YouTube. He did a live deal for that. He played some music. He had some people come in. Jonas Brothers performed. Billie Eilish performed. And then he switched it over to D Nice, and D Nice did a whole DJ set for people, for all these kids that are missing out on their proms. So there's a lot of people out there that are really trying to do good things and help people out and raise money. I'm sure everyone knows about all the celebrities that are reading books on Instagram. You can find that. So there's so much to really watch, even though we don't have a lot of new stuff coming out. So I just wanted to point that out because it's all really fun. If you love movies and TV, watching these sorts of things is just
odds are your favorite actors or musicians or whatever are out there doing something right now. And just search around a little bit and you'll find the people you like and be entertained.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to move on to the Actors Corner and talk about Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr., who's that?
One of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just going to preface this with he's been a favorite of mine forever, and so I really can't put these in different categories. It's just kind of love, really love more, love it a lot.
I see your list over there, and it's kind of like, is that entire 30 line items all in the first?
I wish
the first one?
They could be.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go first. Movies you love.
Okay, so obviously Iron Man.
Yeah.
That started a movement.
Yes.
Really, I mean, and looking at it now, man, can you imagine anybody else in that?
No.
It's perfect.
I know.
He's perfect for it. You know, I don't think there's ever been a guy who can play a likable prick so well.
Aww.
I mean, you're supposed to have misgivings about him.
Yeah.
Right.
He shouldn't be a hero.
And that's hard to pull off.
Yeah.
But he does it masterfully.
Yeah.
That
was Jon Favreau. I mean, making that choice was, I don't think the whole cinematic universe would have continued for 10 years if it weren't him.
I was just going to say there's no way the Marvel universe continues if a different decision is made.
Right.
I mean, they struck gold. Lightning struck.
Yeah.
And it works.
And it works. So I also have Iron Man here, which the movie is perfect.
Right.
The movie is perfect.
And by the way, the movie is fantastic.
Right. Yeah. It's so that movie itself is perfect, but I also have it representing every single all of any appearance that he has in any Marvel movie as Tony Stark are all under this umbrella here that I love because again, when he's with the Avengers and the way he interacts with them and the way he is with Spider-Man and he, when he pulls Peter Parker in and stuff, it's all of that is under him and Tony is the leader. He is truly the leader and he proved that all the way to the end.
100%.
So, so it is Iron Man on its own, but then it's everything else after that.
Yes.
That was all you had under movies?
No. I got one more.
Okay.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, that was, him playing a dude disguised as a dude.
And
I mean,
today it couldn't happen. And even though this was just 10 years ago or something,
that's like 15 actually.
It still couldn't happen today.
It couldn't. And thank goodness everybody took it. Well, I can't say that.
Well, it was written well enough as something so absurd that it was absurd to the rest of us.
Right.
And again, I don't know that other people could pull that off. I think because it's him, there's also a certain, and the way he played it, there was just something special to it.
Yeah.
Because then at the end, when he turns into the Australian and, I mean, come on. Yeah. He's just wonderful.
Yeah. So he's great in it, but the overall movie, I really enjoy.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes
there's nothing wrong with that movie.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just, if it's on, I'll do it. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
There are parts of it that, Ben Stiller's middle part there probably wouldn't be done again. Jack, where he goes full.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that stuff, the rest of the movie, I really like. That's where I really discovered Jay Baruchel.
Oh,
And I'm a big fan of his now.
Yeah.
So it was it was great. Jack Black and Danny McBride, even Nick Nolte.
Tom Cruise.
Well, and Tom Cruise is Les Grossman.
Right.
I mean,
it's perfection.
When I first watched the movie, I didn't realize it. And I think you told me at the end or something, and I went back and watched it. I'm like, oh my God, that's fantastic, and kudos to him for even being willing to do it. I mean, good
it's
stuff.
a good one.
Yep.
So that's everything on You Love?
Those are my two.
Okay. So I've got the Iron Man, obviously. Second, Chaplin. It's a masterpiece. He's fantastic in it, and I will always stop and watch it. And it's just a good movie. It's a great story. But again, there was, the similarity was uncanny. So it wasn't like you had to even think to yourself, like, oh yeah, he's supposed to be Chaplin.
Right.
Like, no, he was.
How many do you have in this category?
3.
I know what the third one is then.
What?
Home for the Holidays.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Wrong.
Oh, I will sit here and be quiet then.
Yeah. Third one, Ally McBeal.
Okay. All right.
So I had a tough time. Again, all of these are basically going to be equal. But for me, he revitalized the show. It was a perfect character for him again. And then he changed the show because he got in trouble. He got arrested. And so he couldn't come back and finish. And the show would have been a completely different thing if he had been able to stay on. And instead, the show just tanked and it went this stupid direction and it was awful. But when he was on, it was a perfect character. It was a perfect love story. Allie was finally going to be happy. He sang on it. I have all of the recordings of him singing on it. And I still will, when I'm on Hulu, I will go to Ally McBeal and I will find just his episodes and I will go back and watch them. Because it's just, again, I've always loved him. And so it was really nice to see him on that. And I just wish he could have come back and finished because it would have been different. But it's what we do.
Yep.
And look, he's one of those stories that because of his talent, we will forgive. There's a lot of people that maybe get themselves into trouble and their talent isn't worth us forgiving them too much, or, maybe they can't come back too much or whatever. He has screwed up time after time. And look at what he is now, like we will forgive those a lot, like Shia too, if you're really talented, you've got a lot of leeway.
But it's not just the talent. I don't think, there have been some really, really talented people that when they got in trouble, they were pricks about it. And nope, we'll work with you if you show some remorse and you're an otherwise decent person.
Yeah.
We'll give you all kinds of chances in this country.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Movies you like?
Ally McBeal.
Okay.
For all the aforementioned reasons.
Yeah.
And The Judge.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Surprisingly.
Tear jerker.
Yep.
Tear jerker. Him and Robert Duvall, which again, perfect.
Yes.
But yeah, that whole father-son relationship and that didn't make my list, but good movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so mine, movies I like. It's really movies I love more still. I don't know.
Right.
Home for the Holidays. We've talked about it a million times on here. It is one of my top movies. He's perfect in it. Every line I quote, I believe, is his. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, and they play brother and sister, but the chemistry with him and Holly Hunter, I think, is just fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like they are brothers and sister.
It really was. Yeah. Jodie Foster directed that. It was just great. Chances are him, Sybil Shepherd, him, playing someone who's been, it was a lot of fun. And again, another sweet story. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. We'll get to it.
And my third one on here, Soap Dish. First off, wonderful movie. So many people in it. But again, he's really funny in this one.
Yeah.
And so just a classic.
Yep.
For me.
Cool.
Movies you hate?
It's pretty strong to say hate. I didn't like it. I wanted to, and I just didn't. And I know now there's a third one coming out. Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, see, I didn't mind the first one. The second one got a little
Yeah, the first one for me, I wanted to like it way more than I ended up, and then the second one was just nope.
Yeah, it's tough because I thought I enjoyed watching him, but I'll tell you, it's tough to try and do that character now after Benedict Cumberbatch.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like no one should, at least for another 30 years or something, until, and they take a completely different stance on it, and he is different, but, and I'll watch the third one just to see.
You look at it on paper, especially at the time the first one came out.
Yeah.
Him and Jude Law.
Yeah.
I mean, what a pairing.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it just didn't work.
Really?
I didn't feel it. I didn't believe it. I didn't buy in.
Okay.
I couldn't buy in.
Okay.
And it just, I don't know, but that to me was a fantastic, at least on paper.
Yeah.
So you see the two names, you're like, oh, this is going to be good.
Right.
Not really for me. And then, of course, when Benedict came along and Morgan Freeman. Morgan.
That would be something.
Yeah, Martin Freeman. Those two now are, now you kind of can't picture anybody else in those roles because the two of them.
It's perfect.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I don't have anything for hating anything.
Yeah, I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Secretly Love?
Home for the Holidays. And it's not really a secret. It's just something to put in this column because everything else is, is out there.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, so I have Tropic Thunder under here.
Mm-hmm.
Only You, him and Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. Damon Bradley. I will always remember the name Damon Bradley from that.
Okay.
Great movie in Italy, rom-com, just heart feels.
Haven't seen it.
Huh?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, we're going to watch it.
Okay.
Okay. And then another one, Heart and Souls. I mean, it is Have a Box of Tissues, him, Keira Sedgwick, I'm blanking on everyone. Viola Davis. No, not Viola Davis. I'm confused. Oh my gosh, Charles Grodin.
Did you get Viola Davis and Charles Grodin mixed up?
No,
okay.
I can't even. Is it Alfred Woodard? I think is in it. I'm so confused now. But anyway, he has these spirits that are connected to him because from childhood, and he has to then, as an adult, he has to help them live out their last thing before they can move on. And it's beautiful. Oh, Elizabeth Shue is his girlfriend in it.
Interesting.
You haven't seen her?
No, I haven't seen
it. We're watching that too. We're gonna have a Robert Downey Jr. marathon. Okay. Embarrassed you haven't seen?
Chaplin.
Oh, yeah, we're having a marathon. No, I'm excited. Mine is just Doolittle because it's the latest one to come out and I haven't seen it. I'm not super thrilled to, but I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're more in tune than I am, but I'm not hearing great things about it.
Oh, I actually haven't.
I'm actually hearing not great things about it.
Well,
but it is what it is.
There's a lot of people in it. Okay, and adding to your watch list?
So you jog my memory, chances are, because I've
Yeah.
always been a huge Sybil Shepherd fan.
Okay.
But Air America.
You haven't seen Air America?
Nope, added to the marathon.
That's so fun. I'm not watching it again. But that's so funny because we were talking just this weekend about Mel Gibson and how I don't watch Mel Gibson movies. But when this one came up in the list, I was like, oh, I saw that. And it was actually good.
Yeah.
It was fun. And so I was like, okay, so I have seen more than I thought I had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard, and
yeah,
I've never seen it, so yeah, add it to the list.
Okay, I don't have anything from my watch list, but I do have honorable mentions.
Of course.
Remember he was on SNL, but it was like the worst season ever. So it was just one season.
I keep forgetting he was on SNL.
Yeah. The Pickup Artist, Less Than Zero, Air America we talked about. There's this little movie called One Night Stand that I loved. I think it was Wesley Snipes maybe or something. Two Girls and a Guy. Love that movie. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So good. If you can find it, watch it.
Who are the girls in that?
The girl from, I'm blanking on her name. The girl from The Hangover that he marries in Vegas that has the baby. She's in Boogie Nights.
Oh, yeah,
Heather
yeah.
Graham.
Yep.
And who is the other girl? I don't even
That's
remember
okay.
now.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's a good movie though.
Okay.
He was in U.S. Marshals. I just like that movie. The Soloist. Oh, him and Jamie Foxx. So good.
Was U.S. Marshals with Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah, that was supposed to be like the Fugitive
sequel. Yeah. So I'm adding that to my watch list too.
Okay. The Soloist. Have you seen that?
Nope.
That's a true story where Jamie Foxx is like the homeless.
Oh,
violin.
He finds him in the subway or something.
Yeah.
I always wanted to watch that one.
Oh, good movie.
Yeah.
I had Sherlock Jones on here. Due Date. Him and Zach Galifianakis. I love that movie.
That was actually my first entry onto the hate list, and I don't hate it.
Oh no,
I just didn't like it.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
you might need to see it again.
Something about it was trying too hard because that's when Zach was first really hit the scene and was popular. So I think they just put the two together to have a movie. Oh. That's how it felt to me.
See, it felt a lot more like not as good, but like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or like Identity Thief, where you've got this person and it's annoying, but then, it all comes together and then you're crying. So,
well, yeah.
So I liked it. But again, I also like both of them and that makes a difference. So.
Sure.
And then I had the judge on mine as well. So good. Okay. Well, we're going to go watch some Robert Downey Jr. movies.
I'm exhausted. I may need a nap first.
All right. Well, thanks, you guys. We hope you're all staying home and staying safe. And
keep your distance. It's helping.
Healthy. Yes, please. Flatten the curve.
And support your local healthcare workers.
Yes.
Please. They're doing an amazing job under unimaginable circumstances. So just keep them in your thoughts.
For sure.
Yeah.
And treat the grocery workers and all of that. Treat them well.
And your delivery people.
Yes, because I've heard stories that people are being mean and that sort of thing.
People are.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Happy quarantine. We will be back again soon. Until then, I'll be watching my stories.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.